Hey, what's up guys? It's Dom from Hole Printing Inc. This is by far going to be my most valuable video I've ever put out. These are my top tips I wish I knew before starting my DTF printing journey. Basically, this is the things I wish my younger self would have known before getting into this new experience. Around 3 years ago, I bought my first ever DTF printer. When I got my actual DTF printer at my house, I was overwhelmed with how complicated this technology seemed. I watched a few videos online, however, there was not that much information about what DTF was, how it worked especially, and just the general, daily tips and tricks on how to make DTF printing work. DTF printing has been around now for around 10 to 12 years, and every single day, as the years progress and as we get more and more advanced in technology, there's more videos out there, and the DTF printing technology is getting more advanced and more simple for the new user. So basically, if you never DTF printed before, you're in better hands than I was only 3 years ago. And as time goes on, the DTF printing experience will become easier and easier for a new consumer. But what I would have known and what I wish I would have known around 3 years ago is still applicable for a new user in 2024. So I'm going to give you guys a few tips and tricks, mindsets I wish I would have had, and also my general knowledge after doing this every single day for 3 years, what you should have and what you should expect before even getting into DTF printing. And if you're already started in your DTF printing experience and journey, these tips are going to be extremely valuable before you get into most of the trials and tribulations that I went through. Quick backstory for some of you the guys that are maybe watching this video and it's your first time seeing this channel and stuff. I got my first DTF printer around 3 years ago. The first DTF printer I purchased, it arrived to my doorstep around 7 days after purchasing it, and I basically purchased it because I was doing screen printing and I didn't have that much space, and my clients often wanted full color logos. They wanted print images on shirts, and I used to outsource actually with Printful. However, their margins were really not good, especially since when I purchased on Printful, there was lots of duties and taxes since I'm in Canada, so I wasn't able to get the margins right. I was actually paying out of my own pocket to do full color orders. So eventually I got tired of that. I got kind of sick and tired of spending money from my own pocket. I was actually losing money. I wasn't making any profit, so I said, why not invest into a DTF printer? I watched a bunch of videos and I was like, okay, I feel confident, let's go and let's purchase it. I saved up all my money, put it on my credit card, and I got my DTF printer. After 1 week of trying to install the software, I contacted the seller. I was ready to ship back the printer because I wasn't able to actually get it up and running. Eventually the seller contacted me and they gave me step-by-step instruction to install the software. I got the software installed, started to do some test prints, and after 2 to 3 days my print head actually clogged up. So the engineers told me I need to buy a new print head. I bought the new print head. It got to my doorstep. I was really stressed to install the print head because there was only 1 or 2 videos to actually show me how to install it. I successfully installed the print head after 3 hours of basically a mental breakdown. I installed the print head, I get to printing and stuff, and maybe a week after, not even, I start realizing that my prints are very faded. I basically wasn't doing my maintenance properly, so I clogged another print head. I had to buy another print head, wait another 7 days. So it was basically a month and a half until I actually started printing successfully and getting prints, that were okay. Another 4 months went by and my prints were pretty grayish. All of the quality of my prints were really subpar. But I was getting the hang of it slowly, diving deep into DTF videos and just learning more about the process itself. But eventually I started to learn more and more, and a bunch of times during that process I really wanted to quit. But I stayed focused. I was like, no, I'm not gonna let this get the better of me and get devastated. I'm gonna double down into DTF printing and I'm gonna make the most of my situation. So I started to get more and more, familiar with the software, more and more familiar with the printer itself, how to diagnose my problems, how to fix my problems, how to change parts on the printer. And now it's been 3 years that I do this every single day, and I know a bit about these little desktop printers. So I took down some notes and I'm gonna share with you guys what I wish I would have learned 3 years ago to save me a lot of money, a lot of headaches, a lot of trials and tribulations, and most of all, lots of stress. DTF printing is such an interesting journey, and I'm really excited to give you guys these tips and tricks, and I hope that you guys will pay attention and you won't do the same mistakes I did when first starting out. So the first thing, guys, the most important thing is extra money. Unfortunately, you want to buy this DTF printer right now, and you want to cheap out, and you want to make sure you get the best deal possible, and you want to have this DTF printer and start printing money tomorrow. Unfortunately, you know, since you're new, even if there's a lot of videos online, mistakes can happen. You know, you're not familiar with the software, you're not familiar with the actual DTF printer itself, you're not familiar how to powder a sheet. There's a bunch of things you're clueless on. So obviously it's a big sum of money to invest and get the ball rolling. But if you don't have extra money and you're tight on cash, it's gonna be a hell of a journey if you don't actually go ahead and, you know, have extra money on the side to be able to invest in your DTF printing experience properly. So this is my number one tip. Have extra finances on the side to be able to invest in your DTF printing experience. And if you don't have extra money, maybe wait a month or two before pulling the trigger, because you will realize that if you put it on a credit card and you have some trials and tribulations when you get the printer, you're gonna hate your life and you're gonna want to return the printer. And basically what I would suggest is have around $1,000 extra before you even consider buying your first DTF print. I cannot stress this point enough. Make sure you have extra money on the side, ideally $1,000 wiggle room. That's after buying your DTF printer, your oven, your supplies, and also the membership that we'll get into very soon. Just extra support in general. Make sure you have a lot of finances available. Don't do the DTF printing experience when you're like this in your finances. Ideally, do the DTF printing experience, buy your printer, buy the supplies, etc. when you're very, very well off financially. Ideally $1,000 extra than what the printer actually costs. And I'm talking about everything included. So not just the printer itself, but the supplies, the membership, the support system, every single thing you can imagine, and extra supplies too. We'll get into that very soon. So extra money. Next thing is gonna be time and patience. You're not gonna get this printer and start printing money. That's what I thought at the beginning. And when I mean printing money, is just everything goes super smoothly. You're printing DTF sheets, you're transferring the sheets on garments, you're making margins, you're finding clients. That's not how it's gonna go. You're gonna get your DTF printer and it's gonna be a very, very slow and tedious process until you actually get to the level where you can produce prints without even blinking an eye. It's gonna take you around 6 months to 1 year to master the art of DTF printing, and that's if you do it every single day. You're in memberships, you're in groups, you have support system, you have help, you have mentors that have been doing this for, you know, years and years, that are helping you and guiding you through the process. It's illogical to think that you're just gonna buy this DTF printer and everything's gonna go super smoothly. It's stupid. I thought that way previously. My younger self was stupid. You know, I thought, I'm gonna buy this and everything's gonna go super well. It's, you know, it's expensive, so I feel entitled to have, you know, support. I feel entitled to have this experience go super smoothly. My entitlement was really stupid, and I wish I could have, you know, had more of a humble mindset and a humble beginning. Like, okay, this is gonna take some time. I'm gonna have a lot of mistakes. I'm gonna spend a lot of money in this, but eventually, if I do not quit, and keyword do not quit, I am eventually going to learn this technology perfectly, and I won't have as many trials and tribulations. When it comes to extra money, time and, you know, attention going into DTF printing, it's important to not be cheap. I speak from experience. When I bought my DTF printer, I wanted to be as cheap as possible, buy as little supplies, you know, be very frugal with my powder, be very frugal with my sheet. I remember placing a bunch of different logos and designs super close, having to die cut the stickers and stuff. Just basically being very, very frugal. And in DTF printing, you want to be as abundant as possible. So you want to be in an abundance mindset. The more you think you lack, the more you will, you know, lack in general. So if I think to myself, oh, I want to save as much on my supplies, I want to save as much on every single thing when it comes to DTF printing, you're going to have a cheap experience. So your prints are going to maybe peel really weird. So when you apply the print to a t-shirt or a hoodie and you actually peel off your sheet, some of the sheet is actually going to peel off, so the logo is going to be on the sheet and not on the garment itself. You're going to have some discoloration in your prints. You're going to have some issues in your software. You're going to have some issues every single layer. You won't know what variable is causing what. Is it my curing settings? Is it my oven? Is it my DTF printer? Is it my print head? Is it my waste ink pump? Is it my supplies? So ideally, buy from the most reputable source of DTF supplies, and that comes down to your personal homework. Obviously, we have a bunch of supplies on our website, but we don't want to be biased. If there's other supplies out there that you guys prefer to work with, stick with your supplier. Just make sure you have a comfortable relationship and you feel like you're getting quality service and the product is very, very good. You want to make sure the white is vibrant and you have quality prints when you're actually printing your DTF sheets. If you feel like your supplies are cheap or you're not getting the best bang for your buck, maybe consider other alternatives. Don't just stick to your the basic supplier, because they're going to have basic equipment, basic supplies, and your experience is going to be cheap overall if you try to cut corners. So in DTF printing, you're going to work long hours, especially in the beginning. You're not going to know the software, you're not going to know the printer itself, you're not going to know how to change parts. When something breaks, you can expect to work 6 to 12 hours to fix a problem, and even longer in some cases. So you have to be very, very, realistic about your expectation when it comes to DTF printing. You can't just expect to plug in the printer and start printing and everything goes smoothly. If you have a full-time job or a part-time job, DTF printing is going to suck up a lot of your personal time, so make sure you have lots and lots of free time available to actually dive deep into DTF printing. If you work on it here and there, you realize that you're going to spend a lot of money and time and you're not going to get to a concrete result because you're not spending enough time to actually learn how this technology works. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to break things, and it's not going to go well for you. So make sure you have a lot of time. Now let's talk about extra supplies. So we've covered the basics, making sure you have extra money, making sure you have extra time, lots of times, and making sure you have a realistic expectation about the whole process. You are going to make mistakes, things are going to go wrong. You have to be patient with yourself, and you have to be patient and humble about the journey itself. It's important to not be cheap. Extra supplies. Now, I'm not talking about only powder, sheets, inks, extra stuff like that. I'm talking about an extra print head. I'm talking about an extra waste ink pump. I'm talking about extra cables. I'm talking about an extra motherboard. All of these things that you have no clue what they are when you first start DTF printing, which is completely normal, but I highly suggest from the bottom of my heart that you guys at least buy an extra print head. Having an extra print head is like having an emergency fund and your car breaks down. Yes, it sucks. It's really unfortunate. Let's say you're DTF printing and the page gets all crumpled up and it does some head strike. Basically, the DTF film goes on the print head and it kind of scratches your print head. And now your prints are coming out all, effed up, and you're not having a good experience. And basically you need to change your print head, right? Worst case scenario. Or just general use. You've been using your print head for 6 months, you didn't do the maintenance properly, whatever the case may be, you had a problem with your print head and now you have to replace it. What's the best scenario, guys? You have to actually go ahead, stop your production, you have deadlines for your clients, and everybody has to wait, including yourself. You can't print for, let's say, 7 days. And that's the best case. Sometimes it's going to be even longer depending from where you buy your print head. You have a problem where you can't actually go ahead and just replace a print head right away and get back to production. Now you need to text your clients, tell your clients, yeah, we're going to have to wait, I need to buy a new print head, blah, blah, blah. You go ahead, you buy a new print head, and then you wait for the print head to arrive, you install the print head, and then you get back to printing after 7 to 8 days of waiting. Or you had bought an extra print head, again, being abundant, you just switch the old print head. We have videos on how to change print heads everywhere on the channel. You change the print head and you get back to printing the same day. Nobody waits and it's seamless. It's a seamless transition. What reality do you guys want to live in? Being cheap and not wanting to invest in your future? If DTF printing is just something you want to do on the side and it's a hobby, even then, invest in the print head. I mean, eventually it's going to break. And that's what I wish I would have known, Buying the extra print head, I have 3 print heads always on standby. I don't ever want to run out of any print heads ever again. It's the worst feeling ever. You have clients that are waiting and it always happens at the worst time possible. You're doing a big production and next thing you know the print head breaks, or you do a mistake, something happens, a head strike, whatever, and you're left waiting a bunch of days until the print head arrives. Extra supplies, guys. Ideally, if you have the budget for it and you want to invest in your future and you see yourself doing this for a bunch of years, invest in extra motherboards, waste ink pump, cables, all that type of good stuff. But ideally, if you can only invest in one thing, buy an extra print head. There's going to be links for print heads in the description, and we also have a special membership. We have a sale going on, and that's actually my second point. Well, another of my points. We have a membership, and if you actually go ahead and buy the membership, you're going to save 25% off on the whole website as long as you stay subscribed. So it's a really, really big bang for your buck. And also you're going to have daily support in the DTF printing experience. We have a Facebook group where we dive in depth and to the members' problems. We have 100% satisfaction rate. So basically every single member that's in the membership, all of their problems have been successfully resolved. I am really, really proud to offer that service. I really wish something like this existed 3 years ago, because obviously it would have saved me a lot of trials and tribulations, especially when you're not too sure what to do next. Having a membership like this where you have quick answers is going to be very beneficial, so you never feel lost, and you basically have somebody holding your hand through the whole process of DTF printing. For me at least, I feel like it's especially useful if you're just starting out, and if you're more experienced, it can be also beneficial because you can help others out. And you can also learn a thing or two about, stuff you might be missing out on, humidity levels, all that type of stuff. We cover anything from software issues to actually DTF printing experience. So, changing parts inside of the printer, going ahead and diagnosing the curing process, general tips and tricks. We also have group calls where we all get in a call and we talk about our experience and share some general tips and tricks. So the membership can be a very, 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 very beneficial thing. The 25% off discount code can be applied on the whole website. So that includes the printhead and also other supplies that you'll be needing, like inks, DTF sheets, and stuff like that. So what's a DTF membership? At least our membership offers one-on-one support. So anytime you're having a problem, me and other members will actually answer you and give you step-by-step solutions to fix the problem. We'll basically be guiding you guys step-by-step through the whole process until you get printing back to 100%. So I highly suggest you guys join the membership, especially if you're new to DTF printing. For the low price of $25 per month, I think it's a no-brainer. You're already spending like $3,000 on this machine. Why not invest into your future and just invest in, it's like basically insurance. That's how I would describe it. It's like joining something and feeling like, okay, if something goes wrong, at least I have somebody to talk to and hopefully resolve the problems to the best of their ability. That's how I see it. It's insurance for your DTF printer. And before things go wrong, we can prevent them. So if you're not sure about something, it's a very, very powerful position to be in. You just ask questions and a bunch of members, including myself, will answer them and will give you tips and tricks. And it's especially useful if you're having issues, changing parts, installing a printhead. You can simply send a photo, ask us what to do next, and we'll help you step by step. So I urge you guys to join this membership as soon as possible. We're actually having a sale because on the 17th of January, the price will be raising to $50 USD per month. So right now you're gonna save 50% off if you buy it today or in the next following day, depending on when you see this video. So I would take action as soon as possible. And even if you're seeing this video and the membership is now at 50 USD per month, it's still a very good investment to save you guys so much headaches and frustration, and ideally prevent problems before they even arise. The next thing I suggest you guys to do is have memberships, obviously, but also groups, paid groups, free groups. Just being in the motion of DTF printing is going to give you guys so much basic knowledge, and if ever you have a problem, you just post in groups. Join as many groups as possible and people will answer you to the best of their ability to help you through the process. Also having a mentor, whether that be me, other people that have been doing this for longer than me, anybody that you feel is competent in the DTF printing experience. Obviously, most of these mentors will be paid mentors, but that's another reason that you guys should take it seriously. If you're investing into something, you're most likely going to take the information very, very seriously and apply it to the best of your ability. That's why when it comes to me, at least, I had joined free groups a few years ago, but I never really paid attention or used them properly because I didn't feel that sense of investment. However, being in paid memberships, it really helps me to be invested in the process and take it seriously. So when I actually have a question, I am waiting for the reply and wanting to apply the knowledge as soon as possible. We covered extra supplies, we covered the membership, extra money, extra time. Another thing is having a reliable source for sheets. Sometimes your DTF printer is going to be unusable for maybe a few days, and in worst case, sometimes maybe a few weeks, a month, and in worst case, you're going to have to actually switch your DTF printer because the issue is too intense. And if you're in a situation like that, you can't rely on a single DTF printer to run your whole business. What I would suggest is having a reliable, trusted source for DTF sheets. So if ever your printer is unusable for a few weeks or a few months, or you have to change the printer completely, you have a reliable source for DTF printed sheets with fast shipping and competitive rates. So if you have a reliable source for quality DTF sheets, you can actually just continue to fulfill your clients' orders ASAP, not losing any time, keeping the momentum of your business going, and eventually when you get your new DTF printer, the transition is going to be seamless. You guys might be seeing a pattern in this video. Basically abundance, having extra money, having extra time, having extra supplies, having membership groups, mentors, a supplier for sheets, a supplier for everything, basically being surrounded properly. Abundance is key in DTF printing. The more you connect with people, you share, you grow, you don't try to keep everything for yourself. You share the knowledge and you share the growth. You're gonna have a way better experience and a more fulfilling experience too, in general. My last tip, guys, before we end off this video is gonna be mindset. I urge you guys to have, like I said, an abundance mindset, but also a longevity mindset. If you're in it for the long run and you're actually taking the time to invest into this 20-minute video or so, how long do you think you're going to be able to invest in your future? You don't even know me personally. You're taking the time to educate yourself on DTF printing. It's important to have a longevity mindset and an abundant mindset. If you have those two mindsets together, you're going to go extremely far into DTF printing. The only thing you guys need to do, promise yourself that you'll try your best every single day and you'll never quit. Obviously, if you feel like DTF printing is not for you and you weigh out the pros and cons, maybe it's not worth getting into DTF printing itself. My goal in DTF printing is to give you the education so you don't do the same mistakes that I've done. I really wish videos like this, talking to me like one-on-one, existed, because I would have saved so much energy and frustration dealing with these DTF printers. I'd rather tell you the truth that these DTF printers, especially the small desktop ones, are not as easy as they look. They require lots of patience, a good mindset, and a longevity mindset to be able to have a successful relationship with your DTF printing experience. If you go into this experience with a lacking mindset, so you feel like everything's against you and you don't feel like you can actually get out of the situation, you're not going to have a good time DTF printing. DTF printing is for those that have an abundant mindset, a longevity mindset, and want to have a long-term experience in the DTF printing world. So guys, let's do a wrap-up of everything we covered. Make sure you have extra finances, lots of time and patience to invest into your DTF printing experience. Make sure you don't be cheap. You have an abundant mindset. Make sure you're able to work long hours. So if you have a part-time or full-time job, make sure you realize that DTF printing is going to suck up a lot of your time, especially when you first start out. Make sure you invest in extra supplies. We're talking about sheets, powder, ink, but especially an extra print head. Make sure you invest into membership, and if you don't want to invest into a paid membership, make sure you at least join the free groups and post and ask questions as much as possible. Make sure you read other people's posts so you can learn as much as possible before taking action. Make sure you don't become paralyzed with too much information. Make sure you do your own testing. Not all settings and printers and ovens are built equally, so make sure you're able to do your own trials and tribulations, and make sure that you're able to invest and actually go in depth and focus and see what the variables are for your own situation, because a bunch of variables can apply, and a small different setting, a small different heating element, anything in DTF printing can create a whole bunch of different variables, especially since not everybody is using the same supplies. A bunch of people have different suppliers when it comes to their inks, powder, sheets, so it's important to do your own testing. Make sure you have a reliable supplier for DTF printed sheets. Make sure the quality of the sheets are premium, and make sure you have fast shipping, so if ever your DTF printer breaks, and most likely it's whenever your DTF printer breaks, because it's only a matter of time, unfortunately, you have a trusted supplier that can fulfill your orders for you while you wait to replace your printer or replace parts. And the last and most important thing, guys, is have an abundant mindset, have a longevity mindset, and have a mindset where you're always willing to learn, grow, and share your experience of DTF printing, and you will save so much of everything: money, time, energy, frustration, stress, longevity for your own health and mental health. Make sure you just take the time to fully absorb this video, watch it back a few times, make sure you actually take the time to fully understand what you're getting yourself into, and once you have a concrete plan, weigh out the pros and cons of everything I've just mentioned, watch a bunch of other videos, maybe on my channel, of how the process works, and then make your decision if it's time to buy a DTF printer or double down in your experience. If you guys found this video somewhat helpful, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe if you're new. This was Dom from Whole Printing Inc. Make a print you'll never forget.